Common sense isn't gone. It just needs a comeback. Common Sense Superheroes with David and Greg.
What's up? Episode number 41 of Common Sense Superheroes. I am your host, David, and across from me, as always, the bearded one, Mr. Greg Miller. It is Fun Friday, which means, as usual, we didn't prepare nothing, but we're just going to talk, see what comes out of our mouths. Who the hell knows what's going to pop out? But Greg, number 41, you got any 41s in your repertoire?
I got two that pop into mind. And David, we should have no issue at all coming up with wonderful things to talk about on this fabulous, fun Friday of June 19th, because, baby, it's Juneteenth.
It is.
We do a whole episode on Juneteenth.
It is Juneteenth. Most people are taking the day off. We are not. We're working.
41s. I got two absolute legends. You won't beat these with the number 41. Give me Dirk Nowitzki and Tom Seaver.
I was about to say, I knew you were going Dirk Nowitzki. Tom Seaver, I just looked up and saw the same thing. I was like, Tom Seaver would be good. But I'll go Eddie Matthews. How about that? Keep it local. Mr. Eddie Matthews for the Bravos. Pretty sure he started probably when they were in Boston because he's an old-ass guy. I don't remember.
That was a long time ago.
I don't remember seeing him even think about playing. I've seen him on the video game. That's about it. And I've seen him in the stadiums with his number retired, but that is about it. But Dirk Nowitzki, wow, boy, man could shoot. He was tough. Tough.
That's another one who I don't know that because of the generation he played with, I don't know that Dirk will ever get the credit for being the offensive player he was. I mean, that guy, he essentially was one of the first in the long line of what we see all over the NBA nowadays, with that long, tall guy who can absolutely shoot from anywhere on the court. Dirk was, I don't think Dirk was the mentally toughest guy on the court in some cases, but Dirk was about as skilled offensively as anybody's ever touched the rock.
He was probably one of the first guys that was at that height that could actually shoot outside the three-point line and could move, really. I mean, KD came along and kind of changed the mold a little bit, but he wasn't as big as Dirk when it comes to size-wise. But Dirk could shoot, man. He could be physical. He could shoot. My man you got to give him props.
Well, and as far as, signature shots or signature moves go, you have the sky hook, which is the all-time unstoppable shots. But right behind that, I got the dream shake back in the early 90s with Hakeem was unreal. But that little one-leg fadeaway that Dirk developed towards the end of his career, dude, that guy's 7 feet tall, fading away off 1 foot. You ain't getting to it. You can't block it. You can't disrupt it. It's just a matter of whether or not he's going to make it. And that dude made a lot of them.
Jordan, after he came back from his first retirement, he got the fadeaway, got down pat to where he was. I mean, obviously he was tall. He was 6'6", but the main thing was he would just get so much space and go so far back. There's nothing you could do about it. Dirk, just size wise, nothing you can do about it. I mean, like you said, you throw it up there. Who's going to get that? There ain't many that's going to block that shot when you're talking about a guy who's pushing 7 foot with that wingspan. When I said about a big guy that can shoot, you know who doesn't get the credit that they should, but probably would have had he not came along at a later time in his career?
I was going to say Blair Rasmussen, but I don't think that's where you're going.
I'm taking it back, Kiki Vandeweghe type style. Jeez. Arvydas Sabonis, when he came into the league, first off, he was huge, tall, big, wasn't going to move him, emotionless somewhat, just I must crush you. He had a Drago type look to him, but could shoot the tray. I mean, he would light up a three-pointer with the quickness. Quite impressive.
Not to mention, and that's a guy that's a name there again. That's a name I didn't know we'd ever get around to on the Common Sense Superheroes. Arvydas Sabonis is unquestionably one of the top 5 all-time passers as a big man.
Yeah.
That dude could handle the rock. And, again, I think he kind of, in that genre of the NBA, he kind of opened up the eyes to letting the offense flow through the big man instead of just dump it down in there and nobody ever sees it again, where they just back him down and try to shoot over the top of somebody. He really, he fueled that offense. He was an incredible passer, just had amazing vision for a big man. Yeah, you're right. It's unfortunate by the time he got to the highest level on the planet and was playing in the NBA, he was definitely past his prime.
Yeah, he was beat up. I think his back was one of the. Which if you're that size, that's going to happen. But his son plays.
Yeah,
I believe for the
Demetrius
Kings.
is pretty darn strong. Demetrius has got some skills.
Pretty good player. So I mean, hey, it was quite impressive. But wow, I didn't think we'd throw a Blair Rasmussen out there either, and throw a Kiki Vandeweghe.
But hey, dude. Musson could shoot. Right?
He
Like it was
was.
awkward. He had a quick release too. That it was 7'1". He had zero other offensive abilities, but he was a 7'1" guy that could absolutely shoot the rock.
Speaking of awkward shot, Bill Cartwright is what I think about when I think awkward shot. Just ugly, ugly. Reggie Miller, weird shot, but quite effective, as we've seen. Greg,
Yeah,
last time we
Reggie.
talked about UFC 250, we went on and we got upset about John Otic, whatever, with the Michelle Obama post comment that he said. But we failed to mention that day because it was breaking at the time. Wow, they had a terror plot. Somebody was trying to go out and make this a big terroristic scene. Did you see a little bit of that, Greg?
I did. And it's something I think we've all probably become aware of, but maybe to some degree we're all trying to put our heads in the sand and pretend like we're not as terrified. Like the thought of what people are going to be able to do with drones moving forward is absolutely frightening. And this was I mean, from what I have read and what I have dissected, this was a well thought out plan. This is 15, 20 people deep. They were trying to create a distraction with some explosions and then funnel people into some areas where they had snipers ready to pick them off. Um, and I do think it's worth noting from what I have read and what I have been inclined to believe, most of the folks involved with this plot probably weren't Trump voters.
What? You mean to tell me the all loving, all everything left is involved in this? Now, obviously, this is the crazy part of the left, but they had to be influenced by someone. This mindset of we need to take out our enemies, which is our political people that we don't believe in. He said that they were going for capitalistic billionaires. A lot of the folks there were military soldiers. And I mean, there was not a whole lot of billionaires there. Mark Zuckerberg was there, but just I don't understand his
Well,
concept of if not me, I
and,
must kill thy.
and more and more, I think it's becoming pretty darn apparent that I think the underlying cause of all this is, and at some point we're always going to end up taking this political, but their arguments and their points are so invalid and so batshit crazy they can't win an argument with rhetoric and words. So there is no choice at this point for the left but violence, and I think that's kind of where we are. Because look, I mean, did you see JD on The View?
Did actually. And wow, handled it very well.
I mean, for our leadership to be able to have that sort of poise, that sort of dignity, and to be able to absolutely know you're going to get attacked, and to sit there with a smile on his face, calmly and coolly, just handle every one of their bullshit points and go, "Well, that's not true. Here's the truth." It gives you some pause to go, "Hey, that's really the way we should all handle things. We should all strive to be more like JD these days and less like the keyboard warriors we try to pretend to be." But no, it's just a watershed, shocking moment with some sort of political violence coming from the left, Dave. Who knew? Like, it's just mind blowing.
We've said it before and we'll say it again. A lot of times I just wish JD would be like, hold on, Trump, I got this. Let me handle it. Because he can basically say the same thing, but in a more elegant way and a way to get your point across where it doesn't come off so I mean, Trump has a way to be hateful and he'll add stuff to it. You're like, just don't add that part. Just leave that part out. But JD, boy, he's impressed me. He's selling a book this week, and I might buy the damn thing because he's doing a damn good job selling it. He's going on. He's willing to go on The View as somebody, not only just vice president, but the vice president of the opposing party and handle it like a champ. That says a lot. I mean, if you can handle The View, you can handle the people in Iran, which
And
there's some
I
talks
certainly
about.
don't want to. I don't want to make the terrible mistake of getting out ahead of ourselves and putting the cart before the horse. But I would look. I'll be 48 years old here shortly. I would rightfully admit I probably identify more with Donald Trump as a leader and a politician than anybody of my generation or my lifetime. Just because I'm finally old enough to understand some of this stuff, and I mean, again, he's been a head political figure for the better part of the last 15 years, almost it seems.
Yeah.
So he has really kind of become that guy that when I think of politics, this is really when I started to, I paid attention during the Obama administration, but it was not near with the depth and severity that I do now. But I'm telling you, as much as I believe in Trump, and I think he is doing some amazing things that he just can't get credit for. If we roll into 2028 with JD Vance and Marco Rubio on the ticket, I don't know that I could possibly believe in a ticket more than I will believe in those two. That is, as far as quality and president, like as far as again, it would be hard for me to put two other people up there that I would say I would prefer over those two. Like, I really think that would be 1A and 1B is my is my top two candidates right now. And if we get them on the same ticket, unified, united, get the economy, dude, I'm telling you, could be in for some good times.
I would not if they've had a here lately, they haven't been wanting to do debates, the left. They only did that one with Joe Biden,
They
and of course,
can't.
that went horribly.
Words don't work
You
for them.
better not debate JD Vance and Marco Rubio. I don't care who you bring in from the other side, you better not debate those 2 because those are I don't wanna say master debaters because it sounds like masturbator, but they are very good at their craft and getting their point
If
across, and wow, very good.
if you thought Trump versus Biden was a bloodbath, if you give me any sort of JD versus Kamala, holy shit balls.
Mm, that would be ugly. I wanna see it. I wanna
I
see
do
it.
too. I do too.
It's
Like
probably
a
gonna
car
be
wreck, I wanna
it's
see it.
probably gonna be JD versus Gavin, like you said, but I wanna see it. Gavin Newsom comes out talking about how he's getting investigated from the administration, and they're coming out their political parties. This started under the Biden administration there, chief. It ain't got nothing to do with the Trumps. So you better get at your boy if you wanna do that, but
Wait, so now you're telling me not only is the left prone to violence, but they'll lie too?
what? Yes,
Oh my god.
shocking
What are
as
we gonna do?
that's as shocking as, uh, Jelly Roll and Bunny breaking up, okay?
If I can't trust Gavin Newsom to tell me the truth about what's going on, I just don't know how to I don't know how to move forward anymore.
I just think about him and going to that French Laundry and eating when he was telling everybody else to stay home and you can't go to the beach, and he was like, "No, no, no, except me though, and I'm gonna wear my mask unless it's Super Bowl, then I'm gonna take it off for pictures." Just such fakeness, such fakeness, but yeah, so that comes out. Greg, we talked earlier about the plot against the billionaires and capitalists. Boy, they must really want Elon Musk because we didn't talk about this last time either, but the first tr tr trillionaire, Elon Musk. Wow.
And I think this is obviously, I mean, a singular individual being worth over $1 trillion is probably something none of us can even comprehend. Like, it's hard to even put those types of numbers into any sort of reality when you think about it. But I do think that this particular issue, and again, it's like everything right now. When you look at it through the lens of current events and political lens and stuff like that, it's amazing just how different both sides view this accomplishment. Several folks on the left have come out and said, let's make sure he's the last. We don't need trillionaires. Well, as a capitalist and a conservative, I'm thinking about think about all the stuff Elon has created for us to become a trillionaire. Wouldn't it be great if we had 100 or 200 more of those? Like, what if we had more people that are creating X and SpaceX and Teslas? Like, that should be the goal. The goal should be to have multiple trillionaires. We should want everybody on the planet to be wealthy, not try to pretend like there is only so much to go around and we must divide it up. No, let's produce more. And that's the ultimate difference between the right and the left. The left looks at everything as a fixed product that we have to try to divide as is. And the right's go, no, let's just build more. Let's make more. Let's put enough food on the table that everybody gets to eat.
Yeah. I have mixed emotions about $1 trillion. Now, well, I will say it's just on paper. I mean, he's already to the point where he could have bought anything and everything he wanted. That it doesn't mean anything. If he's worth
If it makes you
900
feel better,
billion
David,
or a trillionaire,
there's a decent chance that you and Elon have the same amount of money in your pocket right now.
yeah, that is true. Yeah, he don't when you get to that point, ironically, you don't even need money. But of all the people that are gonna be trillionaires, somebody that's for free speech, like I said, I'm all for. It could be somebody who just wants to shut everything down and be one-sided, and I don't like that. And of course, they come out on the left talking about how he's a hateful person. A lot of times he just points out the facts, points out things, and that's what they don't seem to like.
Well, and if you take this, take it one step down, who's the second richest man? Jeff Bezos. That dude created Amazon. Like, do we not want to be proud of that? Do we want to give Jeff Bezos hell for being stupid
Yeah.
rich? Or do we want to recognize the fact that that dude, again, he created a product that has changed the world? Like, that's the part we should focus on. It's not about trying to take from what's already been created. It should be about who can create the next amazing thing that leads us all to more bounty.
Jeff Bezos gets his billions and is worth all that, and he goes and marries, Lauren Sanchez. He gets on TRT apparently. Dude's jacked now. Goes out, buys yachts, spends millions of dollars on a wedding. Elon's like, all right. we're doing this, then I'm going to Mars. If I get this money, then I'm making this car better than anything else. If I get this money, I'm making SpaceX so we can have our Starlink so we can have internet service for everybody else. He's doing good with his money. Is he making a ton of money? Yes, but he's doing great things. Not everything he's done. I still say when you watch that thing land on its own backside, come back down as a rocket and land, give him all the money. That's incredible. That's impressive.
Well, I will go down a path, and this may be somewhat of a bit of a humble brag, but it's just because I want to relive the memories. But it does apply to the conversation because when we were in Cabo a few months ago for Haley's birthday, apparently Mr. Bezos he's got a little place over there off where we were doing our sunset sail.
Bet
It's
he
a nice
does.
establishment. I would say, based on the view from a few hundred yards off the water, seeing it, it may be 8 to 10,000 square feet, right on the cliffs, looking over I mean, it's just stupid. And for a brief second, I was looking at Mr. Bezos's establishment and had the captain tell me, yeah, he visits about twice a year, and that's about it. I go, well, okay. And then I started thinking about how many times a week do I get Amazon packages that literally keep me from having to go to the store? Amazon is a life-changing
Yeah,
business
it's
that he
nice.
created. And then suddenly I go, you know what? I am kind of jealous, but that guy's helped me live a better life. So who am I to complain the fact that he has a little bit better than I do? We spend way too much time. It should not be a comparison between me and you. It should be how do we both get more? And whether it's Bezos or Elon, like I think we ought to recognize and applaud those guys for taking the mentality to not want to just go with the status quo, try to maximize the current system, get out of the box, create some things. And those two guys ultimately have essentially changed the world. I have no problem with them being the two wealthiest people in our planet. None at all.
Yeah, listen, they've earned it. They started from nothing pretty much, and
I
look
have
what
a
they came
much bigger
from.
problem with Nancy Pelosi's wealth than I do either one of them.
That's true. That seems more crooked, but like I said, Fun Friday. We're going to talk about a little bit of everything and just get all the topics out of the way. Greg, we complained about the home run derby a while back, and the MLB listened. I no doubt they listened to this podcast. Now they didn't listen. I don't know if there'll be bikini girls in the outfield, but they did do away with the time clock, and I'm thankful for that because I want to see how far it flies.
Had we done a better job of labeling our episodes, I was searching mightily last night to try to find the one we were talking about because I was going to blow it up all over social media. Go, look, they listened to us. Somebody's listening to us. Now, if they put bikini models in the outfield, then we know they are fans of the common sense superheroes. Now, look, I mean, it's fun to pretend like we may have had an impact or even to pretend like we could take some credit for it. But that is the epitome of a common sense decision. And it shouldn't take us hosting a podcast to call that out. It took them too damn long to get around to it. But hey, ultimately, all good things do come to an end. The home run derby will be better moving forward without that stupid clock.
I think so. I'm here for it. It's going, like I said, wasn't able to just watch the ball fly. Like that took away from the fun. That was a whole part of the fun to me. So thankful for they're listening to that. Well, Greg, what else can we talk about? We got anything else on your mind? Oh, I know what we can talk about. This Iran deal or 60-day hiatus, whatever, whatnot. We talked about JD Vance is on a roll this week, just lighting folks up left and right. Kinda lit up Israel a little bit. Did you see a little bit of that where he came out and I loved it. I thought it was great, and he had a damn good point.
Well, it's like anything else. The whole Iran situation, we all try to, and you and I are as guilty as anybody. We try to box it in and make it simplified to make sense of it. And the truth is, there's so much nuance. There's so many moving parts to all this thing. And I'm reminded when I was, I did my podcast today was on how God works through difficult times and how He uses troubles to shape you and mold you into something better. And I remember a difficult time in my life when I was going through a divorce. It wasn't a whole lot of fun. It just, it can shape you to make you realize what your priorities are, you know? And when you go through something tough, it's about what is that helping you become? And I think that's something we should all focus on. I'm totally rambling because I lost topic of what we were talking about. You want to fill me in?
JD Vance came out and they was asking him about Israel coming out and being
Yes.
upset with the fact that
So where I was going with this, and it actually does make sense, believe it or not, during the whole arbitration process, the arbitrator, who is completely independent attorney, sat down with me at the very beginning and said, "Listen, if I do my job correctly today, you and your soon-to-be ex-wife are both going to feel like you gave away too much and you lost the negotiation. That's how a good negotiation works. Both parties focus on what they didn't get instead of what they did. It's like no party's going to get everything they want in a negotiation. I think at the end of the day, this is another one of those cases, and it's countercultural to everything we deal with in our society right now. I think we need to take a breath. I think we need to sit and wait this thing out and let's see where it goes. We don't need to be naive. We don't need to pretend like this wasn't a political move. This is absolutely Trump kind of giving in a little bit to try to help out in the midterms because he knows we got to get the economy in order. We got to get gas prices down.
Yep.
I do think I think he's got legitimate faith in JD and crew to get this to the finish line. But look, let's not lose sight of the fact. At the end of all this, we still have all of the leverage. And this is completely different than the Obama deal because we went in there and whooped their ass before we started negotiating. Let's think a hypothetical scenario, David. Let's say you and I are neighbors and one night you come down here and pee on my truck. And I walk outside and say, sir, I don't appreciate you peeing on my truck. Will you please not do that again? You might or might not come pee on my truck again. But if I catch you that first time and I beat the living hell out of you and leave you laying in a pool of puddles of blood and tears in my driveway and then say, hey, don't do that again, I bet you don't do it again.
Yeah,
it's a different approach than what Obama took. But at the end of the day, if they don't comply, you know what we can start doing again? We can start dropping bombs again.
Yeah, listen, if you're expecting the Middle East to comply, it's not going to happen. I'm sorry. It's just not. They may for a while, but we're going to go back. There's going to be continual battles in the Middle East.
David, I read the Bible every day. They were fighting back then.
Yeah, it ain't going away. It's not happening. But JD came out and was like, they asked him about Israel and Israel coming out and saying that pretty much that Trump should not do what he's doing. He should keep on fighting and this and that. And JD's like, look, hey, nobody likes you right now. I'm paraphrasing, of course. Nobody likes you. There's no big leaders getting behind y'all. Y'all out there on your own, except for with us. And make no mistake, we are the big dog. We are the superpower. So I'd advise you, if you want to come up and talk trash about the Trump administration, he pointed out the fact that it wasn't Benjamin Netanyahu, but people in his cabinet. He's like, I wouldn't do that if I was you, because all it takes is for us to be like, all right, that's it. We're done. And you ain't that big. You ain't that big and bad. Okay.
No, and I think this is, again, let's take the common sense approach. Israel is one of the bigger, badder players over there, and they can handle their own shit for the most part, but they can't handle it like we can. And there are times when our desires line up perfectly with Israel. And in those times, we're great allies, and I'm glad to have them on our side. And they helped us a lot with some of what was going on over there. But then there comes a time where our desires no longer align. And in that case, you got to go separate ways. If what they're wanting to accomplish isn't the same thing that we need to accomplish, well, we got to take care of ourselves first. And that will always be the case.
Yep. I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up the fact that talks about $300 billion going to Iran. And it's been said over and over that it's not our money. It's not coming from us. It's from the Gulf countries that are over there by it, a Gulf coalition or whatnot. But still, I'm not cool with giving them money because, they're going to be charging a tariff or basically a fee for us to use their Strait of Hormuz. So if I want to complain, that's it.
Let me ask you a question. Have you read the document?
1,000% no.
Okay. The $300 million is not $300 million.
Billion.
It's not money that we're giving them or anybody's giving them.
I agree.
Listen, what the document to this point says is that we will help facilitate loans from the other Middle Eastern countries, which I don't know if you know how loans work. If somebody loans you money, that ain't the same as somebody giving you money.
Well, I don't even think it's us doing the loaning. We're just facilitating it. So it's not the fact that we're not giving them money directly, which is if you watch the CNN, the Clinton News Network, that's what we're told is that we're giving them $300 billion. And I even heard somebody on Abby Phillips last night bump it up to $400 billion. Which I'm against. I'm not for giving them any kind of money, and we're not necessarily giving them money. But let's just say, like in Obama's case, where they did give them pallets of money. What do you think's going to happen when that money runs out? You think they'll be like, oh, well, that was very nice of you. Same thing's going to happen. They're going to keep building once they get that money.
And look, none of us can predict the future. None of us know how all this is going to shake out as they continue the negotiations. But it's $300 billion of us facilitating loans, and there's contingencies attached to it. There's things they have to do before that happens. So Again, it's a negotiation, David. Part of a negotiation is you got to dangle a carrot. You got to give them something to want to move forward, and they need money. They need to be able to rebuild all the shit we've been blowing up for the last few months.
Yeah.
If we're putting contingency plans to go, hey, you have to do this to get these things. Again, I'm not a negotiating expert, but that seems like the best way to approach things. I mean, when I'm trying to get laid from my wife, I try to dangle a carrot, not that carrot, but I try to I try to put something to give her some incentive so that she'll cooperate. We have to give our like we know who these people are. If we don't have some sort of incentive, their greatest mission in life is to destroy America. So we have to get something that we can put them as a priority before destroying America. And I think earning the right to get 300 billion to rebuild their infrastructure might actually entice them to at least play along for a little while.
And I understand that, we did what we did. We had to get rid of the nuclear weapons because, hey, let's be honest, they don't have nuclear weapons and they shutting down the Strait of Hormuz. That's really hurting us economically. What do you think would happen if they have nuclear weapons? My God, it'd be even more so. So I understand that part of it. It just does seem a lot like to the common man, you're like, okay, so let me get this straight. We did all that and they're going to open the strait back up, but there's going to be a fee charged. And they said they don't have nuclear weapons, but they couldn't really reach us with it anyways. Like, what, what are we getting out of this? Like, when they go to vote in the midterms, I would love for them to be like, hey, we got this and we did this. We took care of this, blah, 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 this and that. It feels like we did all that to get back to almost where we were before it happened. We're
I
not
do think
seeing it.
that
I know deep down there's a lot of good that's coming from it, and the fact that they're not having nuclear weapons. But man, I wish he'd have waited till after midterms for this.
Yeah, and that's the point that I can side with because I can get on board with the argument of go, man, time, money, and all the vitriol we've dealt with, since this thing popped off a few months back. What did we actually accomplish? Because last summer when we blew up the nuclear facilities and put that under 2 miles of rubble, that pretty much put not the end, but that set their nuclear program back a decade or
Yeah,
so, which is
I like that.
and
Overnight, boom, you're back. Nobody,
you would have to.
no American soldiers lost. It was beautiful.
And again, we have become in our society, we're such prisoners of the moment, and sometimes we don't think back. But let's not pretend like that back then last summer wasn't a part of this whole ordeal too. It's all been part of the same process. And ultimately, if we get out of this thing the way it looks like, yeah, it's easy to make the argument go, did we really accomplish anything? But I would make the argument that over the last 12 months, we have dramatically set back their ability to develop nuclear weapons. I think we have done a pretty good job of destroying a lot of their military capabilities to inhibit them from getting to a point where they can continue to try to develop it because they won't be able to protect themselves anymore. Three, you mentioned the Strait of Hormuz. I think that big picture, this may actually shake out to be something that gives everybody in that region and everybody on the planet the sense that, hey, you know what? Iran's such a loose cannon. We really don't need to be relying on that strait anyway. We need to find other ways of transporting oil and
Well,
transporting services where we
that
don't
would be
have to deal
nice.
with a place like that. And again, maybe I give Trump too much credit, but I think all of that underlying stuff, I think he has painted a picture that has reshaped the global economy because of this. And I know the folks on the left do not appreciate this and will not have any value on this. I also think to some degree he used this as a chance after Venezuela and this to just go, hey, don't forget who we are. Like if you want to mess around with the bull, you will still get the horns. All this talk about us being on the demise, us not being the global superpower. But Russia is not what Russia think or what people think they are. China is not what people think they are. Not militarily. Now they've got some strengths. Nobody on the planet at this point can compete with us that way. And I think from time to time, you need to show that strength. When you've got crazy people like Vladimir Putin and you got these folks over in Iran, you got these crazy people in Cuba and Venezuela. Look, I mean, if from time to time, if somebody doesn't go pop off and knock the school bully back into his place, the school bully starts picking on more and more people and it just starts to spread. And look, if you want to be the global hegemony and you want to be the world power, it is on you to make sure that you go back and pop down the school bullies any chance you need to. And I really think that's about all this was at the end of the day. I don't know that we accomplished anything massive or life changing. I just think this was a case of the school bully needed to be put back in his place and nobody was going to do it but us.
Well, I feel like we just punched the bully and he ran off. I want to destroy the bully. I would love to see them just shock and awe, baby, even though that wasn't as big as I wanted it to be. You always said, like, well, listen, Trump, he'll bomb the S out of you. He'll keep saying it. And yes, we may have done that, but not to the scale of what we wanted. I wanted to really let them know, like, hey, you're not only going to open the strait, you might pay us to actually go through the strait. I wanted to see some straight carnage. But you can't have that. He even said over and over that Americans don't have the stomach for a regime change because it would have took
Well,
boots on the ground. But
well,
I wanted to see some major bombage.
and you and I have to be very honest and very transparent and very real here. I would say that, on this particular subject matter and current events and social political issues, I think you and I are probably ahead of the curve and probably more in tune and educated than 75-80% of the people out there that are having opinions on this stuff. But even you and I have no clue about all the moving parts,
No,
all the
I
nuances,
get it.
all the factors that they're having to consider. And again, I still think that had the midterms not been up in the air, had that not been hanging in the balance, I think we would have taken a different approach. I think we would have been more aggressive. I think we would have gone over there and just go, "Hey, look, we're gonna go through until we get regime change, and we're not gonna deal with these people anymore."
No, I think he
But
thought it was gonna be like Venezuela. He was gonna go over there, and in 3 days, we back to like, boom, you did that. I wish he'd have waited. I really
I
wish he'd have
I
waited.
I think what the telling thing is, and I again, I'll call it like I see it. I think where Trump misread the room, and let's not make a mistake about it. What has made him as masterful in business and politics and leadership is he reads the room better than just about anybody. He knows what buttons to push. He knows how people are going to react. He essentially is Kreskin. He sees the future in some ways. I think where they missed the boat, maybe the whole administration. I think after the original Iranian revolt of the public people and 40,000 people getting mowed down, I think the thought on our end was, hey, if we go show some support, if we get involved and go in there, those people will revolt and try to take over their country. And that's the part that hadn't happened. And you can't force it. And again, we don't want boots on the ground. We don't want troops stationed over in Iran for the next 2 years trying to institute some sort of government for them. I think the one thing where there was a swing and miss, I think the leadership on our end and the administration, I think they assumed that the moment they showed some strength and said, "Hey, we're here," and they've made comments. Marco's made several comments about, "Hey, we're hoping they'll step up. We're hoping they'll rise up and take over," but it's just not happening. And I think that not happening is really where kind of the game plan got changed, because now all of a sudden we can't hang around a forced regime change. If the people aren't going to make it happen, we're not going to make it happen. I think that's the one area where I think that's the variable that didn't go the way Trump and Rubio and JD thought it was going to go. And I think from that point forward, when the Iranian people didn't stand up and try to take charge, I think from that point on, we've been looking for a different exit ramp that was never the exit ramp we originally planned.
Well, they wanted us to go help out Gaza because Gaza was getting destroyed apparently by Israel, and they were upset about it. But all the Iranian people who were getting destroyed for actually just protesting what's for right, and they didn't care about them for some reason because Trump said we'll do something about that. Then all of a sudden, we shouldn't be over there. We shouldn't be over there doing a human nature war, basically. But I'm just saying they pick and choose who they love in this on the side. Whoever Trump says, "Hey, we need to stop them from being killed." It's okay if they get killed. It seems that way, anyways. I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't think we can lose sight of the fact that whoever is currently in charge over there is probably a little more uncomfortable than they were a few months ago. Because I mean, again, we may not have accomplished anything major, but we did take out 40 or 50 of the top echelon in the
Have you
Iranian
heard that the
regime,
rumor is that the new Ayatollah is gay?
and has
Of
no
all
legs.
places, you want to talk about if you got pride over there and you're willing to go parade in that situation, then kudos to you. I give you cojones. But boy, if that is true, he's on borrowed time. They'll throw him off
Yeah,
a building.
I have heard the homosexual references. I've heard that he's laid up in a hospital bed in a coma with no legs. It's not.
Who
uh,
knows the truth?
Yeah, coming out of that place, none of us do.
Who knows? Greg, I think the beautification that he was doing to the nation's capital was admirable. I think it was a great thing to do. Trump, he took care of the Washington Monument. I believe there was some graffiti on one of the other statues. The Lincoln Memorial with the reflecting pool or whatever. Man, you can't have nothing. He spent all that money to get that pool right, and now it's already jacked up again. Had algae blooms pop up, and then I saw yesterday that the paint was coming off. That they painted it blue. What is the deal? Why can't Jake's pool service can go take care of it? I promise you. That's who we need to go take care of it. But it's sad to see that reflecting pool go back. I hope they're able to get it fixed before they owe 250, but it was pretty
Well,
there for a while.
for starters, the reflecting pool is directly across from the Washington Monument, not the
Washington
Lincoln
Monument, not
Memorial.
the Lincoln Memorial.
Yeah, it's the long skinny needle thing that reflects in the pool, not Mr.
There
Lincoln.
was another statue that had graffiti all over it that it wasn't the Lincoln Memorial, but that they went and pressure washed and got back looking pretty. and just but the Washington Monument is the one that has the reflecting pool. And boy, you hate to see that thing go green again.
Well, David, it's the month of June, and I did a podcast just the other day about national pride, and I'm gonna do one in today. I'm gonna talk a little bit about pride again in the month of June. I'm gonna have a pride discussion,
Mm.
but it ain't gonna involve rainbows. I I just think it's amazing that we finally have a president who is taking some pride in the appearance of things again. It is, look, man, if you go back and I've been able to travel a little bit and historical things, they had so much more of an appreciation for artistic beauty and true beautiful sculptures, architecture, buildings, monuments, everything. Modern art is just hideous. The modern buildings are just hideous. Like nothing's pretty anymore. And and frankly, if you see a lot of people on the left, it looks like they go out of their way to be as unattractive as they possibly can. Like, what is wrong with taking pride in an appearance of something? What is wrong with, I work out, I try to take care of myself. Part of it is just vanity. Part of it's because I want people to look at me and go, damn, for 50-year-old, that guy's in pretty good shape. Like, there's nothing wrong with a little self pride in your own image and your own presentation. And frankly, I think as a society and as a nation, we'd be a whole lot better off if every individual would take more pride in how they put themselves out there to the world. I'm tired of seeing people on airplanes in their damn pajamas. Now, I don't dress up in a suit, but don't wear your pajamas to the airport. Don't wear your pajamas and your Crocs to Walmart. We should all take a little more pride in our appearance. And I'm glad that he's made the effort. The building money for the ballroom, the Washington Monument, the cleanup stuff. Man, let's start doing more of that because I got an argument on TikTok. Somebody asked me if I'd ever traveled before because I said on my show that America's the greatest nation in the world, undoubtedly. Ain't a doubt. I'll argue with anybody. We are unquestionably the greatest nation on the planet. That's why all the people are trying to come here.
But I said,
And
what other place has immigration where the people are trying to flow into it? Not many that I can think of.
and 99.99% of the people who hate this place and talk about how awful it is refuse to leave.
Even
This
though
is
they
the
got
greatest nation on the
means.
planet.
A lot of them have
And
the
if my
means to leave
TikTok
and don't.
follower who made that comment's listening to this show, I stand by it. And being the greatest nation on the planet, we should take some pride in ourselves. Appearance, image, presentation, everything.
Yeah, I hope it gets back right. Trump came in and he said, I want to make Washington, D.C. safe. He had the National Guard out there. And then he wanted to make all the national monuments around the monuments around the area looking just as best as they can and make Washington, D.C. beautiful again. And he got a bunch of pushback for that. How do you push back against that? Your nation's capital. He wants to make it safe for people, one, and two, wants it to look pretty. And they were like, nope, I want it. Don't do that. How do you argue that? It's unbelievable. They'll
We
argue
we
anything.
we hyperbolically made the analogy that at some point we're going to see a New York Times headline says Trump ruins oncology profession. Yeah, he cured cancer. That's a
Yeah,
good thing. But
that's
they
what they'll
can't
say.
see anything he does as good. It doesn't matter. Again, you and I've talked about it on here repeatedly. I am really at this point, it's beyond even curious to see what happens when he's no longer in the picture because I don't know that any individual has been such a singular focus for 10, 12 years the way he has, where it is, I mean, he is as polarizing as they get. And this is a world leader. This isn't an athlete or an entertainer. This is somebody who literally everybody in the world has an opinion on this guy. And 99% of the people that have an opinion on this guy have a very strong opinion one way or the other. I don't know that we've ever seen a figure like this in history that was this well known, well recognized as, and loved and hated as much as he is. But it's going to be interesting when he's no longer there to take the shots. What I don't know what they're going to focus on. But no, it's sad. Like again, you and I are supporters. You and I believe in the process of what he's trying to get accomplished and the system. But it is just amazing to witness somebody that literally, no matter what they say or do, it is going to be made into a bad thing.
Well, fun Friday, final topic. We going all over the place. The Knicks win the national championship, the NBA championship for the first time in 50 some odd years. And what do? Tear down the city. What I don't understand winning in any regard, and I don't just put it on New York because damn near everybody does it. The New York Knicks win. They trash the city. They start celebrating, putting buses on fire, and then they have a parade yesterday. And you hear about people getting shot and stuff, and some chicks twerking on a light pole. Like, can we not just be happy and just win? I don't get it.
It's a cultural issue, my man. It is. We have, as a society, and I feel like, there's always been a small percentage of people who protest, who revolt, who always want to seem to be rising up. But but ever since the advent of social media, it is like we place such a high value on revolution. It's like it doesn't matter what's happening, we need to revolt against it because that's what you're supposed to do. Winning a championship is a good thing. You know what I did when Georgia won back-to-back national football championships, David? I drank a little bourbon. I screamed a
Yeah.
little in celebration. I thanked God for being so blessed. And I went to bed. I didn't burn anything down. I didn't break anything. I didn't hit anybody.
I
I was
didn't think
happy.
about I'm about to go burn somebody's car up. I never thought about that. Never once crossed my mind. I don't
I
know.
was actually when Keely Ringo was running down the sideline in the first one, I was sitting in a hotel room with my wife sound asleep in the bed, and I was all by myself, just as giddy and happy as I could be. I had made the joke earlier that if we won that night, I was going to run out and jump into the river. Then I remember how disgusting the Savannah River is and said, I want no part of that. But I celebrated by myself, and it was a completely joyous occasion that at no point did I think of destroying or demolishing anything. I don't get that mentality, but I do think it's communism, David. It's what the left is. It's tear down anything that exists.
I would love to blame it on the left in this, but I think damn near anybody, I feel like they do it. It's mind blowing to me. But we won't be doing that in Athens this year because the Georgia Bulldogs, with a hell of a run, came in one of the favorites to win the College World Series, got taken out. Oklahoma must not like the state of Georgia because they put it on Tech and now they put it on Georgia. And let me tell you, it's almost better to be coming into a playoff or something like that hot as it is just be the good team. Because if you come in on a roll hot like Oklahoma is, you can take some folks out, and they damn sure did. They took out some powerhouses. So kudos to the Oklahoma Sooners, but Georgia Bulldogs, hell of a run.
Yeah, and not one to make excuses. The old adage in baseball is true, and no matter how much we talk about the offensive explosions and the metal bats, hey, good pitching can still beat good hitting. And they threw three good pitchers our way. We just couldn't put the runs on the board. But I think you got to take a moment and not let this take away from what was a hell of a year. We gotta be happy with what Wes Johnson's doing in Athens because I've been a Georgia fan for as long as I can remember now, and I have been disappointed in our baseball program more often than not over the last decade and a half because it just you the talent for baseball in the state of Georgia. Youth baseball in Georgia is massive.
Yeah. I
There
mean,
is
East
no
Cobb's one of the
reason.
best programs out there.
Yeah, there's no reason that the elite flagship institution for the state in the state of Georgia, with all the resources they've got in Athens, there's just no reason to not be competitive. I know how good the SEC is, and I know it's a battle, but Wes Johnson's done a hell of a job of getting out there and putting a team on the field that we can be proud of. It was a fun year, fun team to watch, man. No game was ever over with those boys. But when all is said and done, the bats went a little quiet when we needed them to wake up, and that's the name of the game. And as another one of my shows here in the recent past was, God calls us to do our part, but the outcomes are in His hands.
Well said. Well said. So we end up having North Carolina and Oklahoma. You got to kind of take the one that beats you. You kind of got to go with them. So I want to pick Oklahoma because they're on. They got to cool off at some point, but maybe they can be hot for a few more games. So I'm taking Oklahoma.
I think Carolina's the better team, but Oklahoma would be hard to go against because they just feel like a team of destiny. They've all through this tournament, even in the regionals and the super regionals, they just seem to get all the clutch hits. They seem to make the plays defensively. I mean, they again, and I'm not taking away. I know they came in as one of the lower seeds. That's a good Oklahoma team. They don't have the offensive firepower that we have, and again, I
Couldn't tell
think
it the other day.
yeah, I think had we played them, 10 series of the year, I think we'd have won 7 or 8 of the series. I do think we were the better team, but that ain't what matters. They got hot when it matters. They had some
Yeah.
dominant pitching. Uh, if I was making a bet, which by the way, I haven't made a bet in about 3 months. if I was making a bet, I'd have to take Carolina to win the title, though.
Well, I'm gonna go with Coach Tyler Carlton, and go with Oklahoma. He's Oklahoma boy, and I'm gonna pick Oklahoma. So that's it. Episode 41 in the books for Common Sense Superheroes. Thank y'all for checking in. Greg and I both have said, you know what? We're getting to the point now where we have to start taking this serious. We got to really, because I'm not joking when I said, what do you want to talk about? He said, I don't know. I said, well, Fun Friday. We'll just see where it goes. And that's the majority of our shows, but we will get into a good sequence here, baby. When the kids go back to school and I got some time to think and get a little energy back with baseball being over, we're gonna get a better system as far as getting guests and things like that. But Greg, we got to dial it in. People are actually starting to pay attention, and we want to keep that train moving.
I think the truth of the matter is this was something you and I were both so eager to get started that we just never really planned anything out. And again, it's just 2 or 3 times a week. It's one of us will text, "Hey, you want to jump on real quick?" And we just get on here and chat. But I do think, I've gotten some feedback. I know you have. We've got some people that seem to be tuning in a little bit, and I'd love to start, trying to spread this and get more people involved. Let's get some guests on here. I'd love to start having people input some topics. I'd love to figure out if we can find a way to go live and maybe somebody on TikTok or Facebook can chime in and throw some questions our way from time to time. Never thought we'd make it 41 episodes, but I'm having a blast doing it. It's a fun thing when you finally feel like, you know what, it's just fun to share your voice. It's fun to go, I'm putting my thoughts out there regardless of what anybody says or thinks about them, because that takes a little courage. And I'm not saying that, we're some sort of heroes. I mean, we're common sense superheroes, but look, not everybody's willing to get out there and share their own opinions this
Yeah.
way and to put it out there for public consumption. Go, this is what I think. You want to talk about it? But I think that's more of what we need. And again, I hate to keep promoting my show, but that was my topic today. Is, we talk about free speech in schools. Like, you got to let people learn how to have discussions when they disagree. We have to learn how to talk through things, work through conversations, work through arguments without somebody just shutting down, storming off, or going online and blasting it. Like, we got to figure out how, I've said, and it's a phrase we've all heard, I respectfully disagree. As a nation, we have lost the ability to respectfully disagree with anything. If we disagree on something, I hate you, you're wrong, I don't want to talk to you. That is not a functional way to evolve as a society. We're not going to grow that way. So we got to be able to talk through things. And that's what we're here to do, is have dialogue, have conversations. That's the reason we post all this crap on social media. We're trying to get you to think a little bit. And we're trying to get more of you to wake up and go, hey, either I agree or I disagree. And if you disagree, let's talk about it.
Well,
Tell me
that's
why you disagree.
one of the reasons we started this show. You talked about it for years, but what really kickstarted it to get it going is the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and that's kind of what he stood for. Was just like, hey, we got to talk, we got to have conversation, and he was all for it. And ironically, he was for peaceful conversation. He just wanted to talk about it, no violence, things like that. And unfortunately, you saw what happened. But that was one of the things that kickstarted this whole deal. So, in honor of him, let's have conversation. Let's talk about it. But we'll do that next time. But till then, Greg, leave us with a good word, my friend.
As always, guys, we appreciate the support. Y'all like, share, follow, subscribe, do all the things. And beyond that, we do. There's a mission behind this. This is not. It is fun, but it's not just fun. We are trying to stir some stuff up, and we're trying to get some people thinking and get some people engaged. And one of the things I tell you every day is get in your Bibles, say your prayers, love each other, and tell the truth. God bless.
Amen. Till next time. Peace.